everyone.
Hi.
Oh, welcome to our, what month are we in?
June.
May. June. Oh, God, I don't know where I am. I was saying to Carla today, everything's merging into one. I don't know what day of the week it is half the time and
I agree.
where I am. So is it a weekend? We don't know. But it isn't. It's Monday, the third Monday of the month, and it's our meeting. So thank you for all for coming in and braving the rain, you know, all that. We would have had nobody in, I tell you, if we'd have been out in that rain.
Which is why we didn't have to go out.
I know, that's the thing. Right, not much to tell you, because I do try and send you everything, because it's boring otherwise. It's, you don't want to hear me rattle on for hours on end. A couple of things. Cherry trees, I'm going to send this to you anyway, but cherry trees are trying to hang on in there and do their bit. And they're holding a cherry-tastic tea party because on the 26th of June, it is National Cream Tea Day or something. And it may well be something that we could do, but they've asked us if we wanted to hold it. Who's that? What's that? What is that?
I'm on the phone.
My broken phone.
Is that someone's phone, surely?
I don't know. Better not be mine. Gosh. Right. Yeah. So I'm going to send this to you in the update. And they're just suggesting that you get together with a couple of friends that you're allowed to do in your whatever bubble. No, not bubble. Is it? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, bubble.
Is it? Right.
Yeah.
Whatever it is in Boris Johnson's bubble thing that he tells us we can have. If you want to get together with some friends and have a tea and maybe make a donation to cherry trees, that would be lovely. But I'll send you all that tomorrow or whenever I do the update this week. One of our ladies, Jo, is she on here? Jo Sellers Hodges, is she on tonight?
No,
She's working, poor darling. She sent us, she works at the Marsden and in radiotherapy, and she's asking if there's any way the WI could help by making 30 of these little mask extending things with the buttons on. Now I'm going to speak to her because I've got the actual headbands that have been made, these lovely headbands, proper headbands with buttons on the side that can be used as well. And I've got about 20 odd of them. And if she wants them, she can have them. But I know Anne Howard, who also isn't on tonight, is she? She's been making these little ones, because who was sewing the buttons on? Jack, you were, weren't you? Who sewed the buttons? Oh no, Leslie did. Leslie sewed the buttons on for her. She hated doing buttons. She didn't mind knitting the little things, but didn't want to sew the buttons on. So Leslie done it. But if anybody would like to make some of these, if they the Royal Marsden at Sutton would be really, really grateful. They need about 30, preferably in dark colours or burgundy. So that's because they've got a lot of chaps and they don't want to wear floral things. Maybe
no, it goes with their uniform.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Jack. But they did have some kindly made for them by a patient, but they're now wearing surgical masks all day from entering the hospital to actually leaving. So I mean, those things. I mean, I wore mine on my ears one day, well, one half a day, and I thought I was going to pass out the thing on my ears. I'd hate it. So if anybody would like to do that, if they can just email me in and just say I'm making a few, that would be lovely. And they can go to the Marsden, which would be really, really helpful. I mean, they're still making scrubs and doing all these things. There's a big group, and Leslie has been.
The screen over.
No, it's not.
It is.
Oh dear, is there? Oh right, Rachel's telling us even non-surgical clinical masks. Well, you have to wear them in the shops apparently, don't you? If you go to the shops now, do you not have to wear a mask? Is that what this is?
It's just public transport. Yeah, public
on the transport, yeah. Never doing that. Also, the only other thing I've got to send you is the talking points came out today, and I'll send it through to you tomorrow or whenever. Nothing's really going on. They furloughed all the WI staff who work at National and the South West Surrey Federation office. they're going to trial a Zoom meeting, Surrey members. I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know how many people are going to join in or whatever. I don't know how that's going to work, but you can read all this tomorrow. But everything else has been cancelled, as you know. And prison WIs are still asking for cards, just to, you know, they've now done 3 months with no visits, no exercise, very little of their self. So they're making scrubs for all of the local hospitals, which obviously keeping them busy, and that's really good. So that's all I think I've got to tell you. I just feel sorry for those poor people if they've all come on who started in January or February, because they've had one meeting and then the whole thing's gone to put. And it's not very nice for them to have to keep doing this. But we do get better. We will get better. And I'm hoping that sooner or later we'll be back in the throes of Manor House, enjoying Prosecco on the lawn or whatever it is we will be doing in the, well, I don't know, in the autumn. We don't know. But we've got to keep going. Some of our WIs aren't doing all this, so it's quite good that we are. Thank you to all the groups also that are still going. The choir's still going, walking. They're actually going for real walks. Have you been out, Sue? Sue, yeah. So they're doing real walks, social distancing, and so that's all back to some kind of normality, which is lovely. It's nice to get face to face with people. But I'm just going to shush, because I'd much rather hear our speaker tonight. And Fritha has very kindly said she'd do us a Zoom talk, which is great. I would have liked to have seen your pillows and things and touch stuff. So hopefully you can come back and see us next time, Fritha. But Fritha you're an ex-Manor House girl, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes, you see. We're all Manor House, not real Manor House girls, but we go there every third Monday of every month, so we are Manor House girls.
Very nice,
But I'd like to welcome Fritha to our WI to tell us all about her wonderful life as a social entrepreneur and all the wonderful things she's doing to empower women. So, Fritha, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Fritha.
Before I start, how long would you like me to speak for? Half an hour, is it?
40, where are we? 40 minutes or something?
Great, okay. And then,
is that right?
Yeah, that's great. And then questions and answers after that, or would you like me to incorporate?
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Afterwards.
Answers afterwards, because then we'll unmute everybody if they've got something to say.
Okay, cool. Okay. So before I start, I just wanted to say thank you to Carla for inviting me. So my name is Fritha, and I am an ex-Manor House girl. And I was at school with Carla there. I don't know if anyone else was at school with us when we were there. I don't know. So Manor House was really special to me for lots of reasons. One of the main reasons was because my grandmother actually ran the school for a long time. Luckily, she retired before I got to the age where all my friends got, sort of expelled and suspended and things. That would have been awkward. But it's really special that Carla invited me on, because when I was at Manor House, I've always been a really keen sewer. I love sewing, and Carla's mum actually taught me how to quilt. So I think it was Thursday nights. I used to walk up Manor House Lane up to Carla's, where Carla lived, the Whites lived, and we were going to her mum's house, which was the cleanest house I've ever been in my whole life, still to this day. And she would teach us how to quilt, and so interestingly, the secret projects all comes from the world of quilting, and I will tell you a little bit about that. So that's kind of the background of who I am, and that's how I've been invited to speak today. So I am a social entrepreneur. I have started a business called Secret Projects, and we drive female-led micro-enterprise in India. I have some slides but I'm not sure if you would prefer me or the slides.
We don't mind.
Don't mind. So, okay, what I'll do is I'll not slide it for a while, and then I'll slide it to do some videos and things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm really, I don't know if it's vanity, but I always look at myself when I'm on Zoom. I don't like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover you. You won't be able to see I'm doing this. I've got a Christmas card and I'm going to cover myself up. There we go. So you can still see me, but I can't see myself. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. So I was really lucky to, so when I was at Manor House, I was kind of angry, cross that some people had stuff in the world and some people didn't have stuff in the world, like basic things like shelter, shelter, security, financial security, food, opportunity, the ability to thrive, things like that. And I was doing my application to university, and I had 2 UCAS forms. One was to the London College of Fashion, and the other one was to Newcastle University to do social policy. And my dad, having seen me spend time with the Whites and seen me spend my whole life on a sewing machine, he begged me to do London College of Fashion. And I didn't. I put the social policy UCAS form in, and I ended up going to university at Newcastle and learning about social change, basically. And my dad said, "Why did you do it?" And I said, "Because I love fashion. I love sewing. I love beauty. I love all those things like dresses and fabric and all that kind of stuff." I said, but I knew at a really young age that fashion and the industry was kind of a really dirty place because of the injustices in the industry. And I said, if I go into fashion now, I will never learn how to, let's do it in inverted commas, change the world. I will always wish that I knew how to do that, and I would always regret being in the fashion and the kind of in that industry if I don't, do that first. So off I went to Newcastle University, and kind of didn't really understand anything that I learned. It was way too academic for my dyslexic brain, and having been at lovely Manor House, where if you could smile or pirouette or do anything, they would just love you for it. It was a hard task for me, but I was lucky to go there because I majored in India and everything about anthropology of India, and also I majored in fostering and adoption. And on the side, of course, I had my trusty sewing machine, so I carried on making things all the time. But so I popped out of that, and I just went straight into charity fundraising. And actually, I was massively part of Rainbow Trust Children's Charity, which is the charity you'll all know very well because it's over in Leatherhead. And I was a community fundraiser there for a number of years. And I loved my community fundraising role there, and because I was just left to do whatever I wanted. And but in the end, I decided to move up to London and start work at Save the Children. And I got to Save the Children, and I kind of became quite frustrated in this big charity, which does so much good, and I absolutely adore the work it does, but I just realized it wasn't kind of for me. And I was grappling with this whole thing of like, I want to make my difference, but I don't know how. I was pretty cross and frustrated and everything, and I ended up going to India through an opportunity with Rainbow Trust. And I was out there, and I kind of got involved with a charity that led me to be in India a lot more. And one day I was visiting a charity who ran self-help groups for women, and they had taken out microfinance loans, and they were earning money to pay back to the women, to the organization that gave them the microfinance loan. And they said, would you like to come to our house for tea? And I said, well, of course, I'd love to do that. And we went to their house and they held their group meeting and they all held hands, and they said in Malayalam, which is the language of Kerala in India, and they said, they held hands and they said, we will pay back our loan every week. We will brush our teeth every night. We will not let a drunk man cross the threshold of our homes. And they were so unbelievably powerful. And I just fell mad in love with these women straight away. And when we were having tea, they said, would you like to learn how to make flower layers? Where they take I don't know how many people have been to India. If I was with you, I would ask and everyone would put their hands up. But in India, when the Hindus go to the temples, they take flower layers and they buy them on the streets as they travel to the temple. So these women were using the rosebuds and tying them all up together. And it's really, and you can do it with marigolds as well and other flowers. But it's really, really hard, the knotting. And I've always wondered how they make it so strong. So they said, would you like us to teach you? And I said, oh, yes, please. So we sat down in this house we were in and we started threading the rosebuds. And I said to the ladies, how do you pay back your loan? And they said, well, we have a herd of goats and we milk the goats and sell the milk. And then the rest of the time we make these flower layers. And their fingers were all bent from constant tying up and knotting from these flower layers. And they told me how much they earned. And I said, this is not very much money. And they're in the corner of the sewing machine, in the corner of the room was a sewing machine, a treadle, which is a non-electric sewing machine. You probably might know them from your grandmothers or something of using them. I said to the ladies, why don't you use the machine? Why don't you buy some cotton and sell the things you make? And they said, oh, well, of course we want to do that, but no one would ever buy anything that we made because we've only got ourselves and the community around us to sell it to. And I said, so wait, so you're not making things out of cotton and selling them because you haven't got a route to market, so to speak? And they said, that's exactly it. And I went on after this meeting to visit a number of other charities who did a particular, who supported these self-help groups. And it was just constantly the same story. All these women had been trained to stitch, but they weren't earning an income from it because they didn't have a route to market. And I had been sewing secret pillows, which is a pillow that unfolds into a blanket. And I'm going to try and show you a pillow unfolding now. I'm sure Carla will know what this is. So here is the pillow. Can you see? Yes. And then it unfolds like this into a gorgeous blanket.
Oh, I love that.
Nice. There's so much. I will share our YouTube at the end of the thing, and you can see all our YouTube and everything. There's so many videos of it unfolding. So I had been ferociously making these secret pillows for all my girlfriends who were getting married at the time. I was about 30. And just before I'd gone to India, one of my girlfriends had said to me, Fritha, I love my secret pillows so much. Why don't you start a business making and selling secret pillows? And I looked at her and I was like, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my whole life. I'm trying to save the world, by the way, and I don't want to start buying and selling homeware. Anyway, there I was with this beautiful group of women who were telling me that the reason why they couldn't earn a living from stitching was because they simply didn't have a product and a route to market. So I had a eureka moment in that place where I was with those women, and I thought, I know what I could do. I could bring the secret pillow to South India. I could train the women and I could sell the pillow on the international market and fetch them a really good price for it. So it kind of is that's kind of what happened. I went back to South India 6 months later, and I trained a group of women. Sadly, it wasn't that group of women. And then I went on to sell many, many, many secret pillows. So just before I move on from this, I just should say, and I say this to you women, and I say this to the universe, the women I met at that time, I don't know who they are, and I don't know where they are. I know they're in Kerala, and I know a man, and I still am connected with him through Facebook, and I know he knows where they live, and I have a picture of me with the women, and I'm going to put it on the screen now, and I'm going to flick my screen so you can see some of them. So hang on a sec. So one of the things I am starting to promise myself is that I'm going to find these women. And I'm going to invite them to be secret pillow makers. Host disabled attendee screen sharing.
Try that.
You disabled her, Catherine.
Well, I think I did right at the very beginning.
Don't worry, Catherine. Could you undisable me?
Oh, I don't know. Hold on.
She's been disabled.
Active. Hold on.
Don't worry, I'll carry on talking. So I promise you now, and I promise these women, wherever you are, I'm going to find you, and I'm going to invite them into secret projects at some point soon, because it breaks my heart every time I tell that story that they're not benefiting from something which they revealed to me and has benefited so many other women.
New visitor.
Oh, that's a new visitor to our website. Did you hear that?
Yes. Yes.
So what happened next was I became completely and utterly obsessed with making and selling products, and particularly at the beginning, secret pillows made by women in India and sold internationally. My vision then and still is now that all the women in the world have the confidence and resources to make their own choices for themselves and their children. And I expanded, we've slightly changed the vision to this. All women in the world have the confidence and resources to support, to make their own choices for themselves and their families, and support their community development, because it's a little bit less feminist, which is problematic in India actually, because they're much more about community models, and it's a very different kind of makeup. So we've switched that in the last two weeks, which is why I can't say it very well, but I'm practicing. So thank you for holding space for me to practice my vision, my adaptive vision. So I became completely obsessed with all of this, and luckily my heart was broken in two, smashed to smithereens when I found out about all these women in India not able to use their skills to earn an income. And so I then was able to dedicate all this heartbreak and my 30s into making Secret Pillow Project, which it was then called, absolutely fucking amazing. So I'm really grateful for having my heart broken, and I'm really grateful for the space I had all that time to develop a business which I now know that I live my purpose through, and it has made me less angry and very driven and happy and in action. So thank you for breaking my heart. So the way I decided, I didn't have any cash, and I thought I've got to start this business from nothing. And when I trained these women in Kerala, I don't know if people will know this, but there's a lady in South India called Amma, which means mother, and she is a guru that hugs everyone. She hugs like 5,000 or 6,000 people a night, and she's the mother, and she has a huge ashram down on the water in Kerala. If you're interested in that kind of thing, look her up, Amma. She'll bang if you put her into YouTube. Anyway, she was the one, her university and the United Nations Democracy Fund actually connected me all together with these women, and I did the training. And we made 12 secret pillows, and I took loads of footage on my little iPhone. It was many years ago, 8 years ago, and I took the footage on my iPhone, and then I made a little video and I put it on Facebook, and Facebook hadn't been going for that long. And I said to people, who wants to buy a secret pillow? And I said, I've only got 12, and I sold 50 straight away. And I just people, yes. And I remember thinking, why do all these people want secret pillows? But I just realized that everyone wants a role to play. Everyone wants to help. And for so many of the people in my network, lots of women, lots of my friends were newly married with little babies. They were, I won't say stuck at home, but they were very much, rooted down in their worlds, and this was a great easy way for them to really feel like that they were making a difference and stuff. So I sold 50 secret pillows, and I went back to India, and I saw the women, and they were like, wow, we loved making it say, it was great, sell internationally, we feel like entrepreneurs, yay. And I remember thinking, oh hell, I've got to sell a lot more pillows. And that's when I remembered this thing in my head called crowdfunding. I was like, I think that's where just a random individual who's not part of a charity, or because I was completely conditioned to only do good through a charity by then, because I'd worked for so many amazing charities. And then this thing about crowdfunding came into my mind, and I Googled it, and it said, oh, crowdfunding, there are three types of crowdfunding. You can get loan, so you can get into debt through it. And I thought, oh, no, you need a business that's got 3 years of accounts. Not me. You can sell equity through it. And that's when I was like, I don't have a business. I don't have any equity to sell. I don't have any value in a business. And then they said you could do rewards-based crowdfunding, which is basically where you tell everyone about a wicked product, which you've got and which you can sell. And then they buy it before it's even produced. And I thought, hell, that is the kind of thing I need. And you don't even need to be a business. You can just do it as an individual. So I was like, this is the kind of disruptive finance that I knew was going to completely sort me out and help me order tons and tons of secret pillows from these women and train many more. So I ran my first crowdfunding campaign, and my mum, who used to be the swimming teacher at Manor House for a bit, I said to her, listen, Mum, I'm going to sell £15,000 worth of secret pillows. And she was like, why? Why can't you just sell £5,000 worth? Why 15? And I said, because it's a good number, and that's the amount we need to pay for all the training and stuff. So off we went to do our first crowdfunding campaign, and it was amazing. And we did it. And I remember thinking that my cock is firmly on the block here. I can't fuck this up. I've got to go for it. And I just went into some kind of supersonic achievement mode, and I did it. And then I kind of did another one for a lot more money, and and then through doing these amazing crowdfunding campaigns, I got this amazing global customer base that wanted more and more things. And then I started meeting change makers in India, and one of the groups of people I met were guys and girls that rescue girls from brothels in big cities in India. And they said to me, when we rescue the girls, they then come to a shelter home in the city, and then we do lots of work around their legal cases, and then we wait to try and find a safe passage home for them. Many of them are from Nepal, so they all go together. So some girls are rescued at 19, 20, and then they're stuck in these shelter homes for 2 years doing absolutely nothing. And I was so sad. And they said, listen, can't you, why don't you train them to make secret pillows? So I went to the shelter home, and it was in the city, right next to the red light district. I went to the Mumbai one. And when you buy 100 meters of wadding, which is the stuff that goes inside the secret pillow, it's like this big. Like I could hold it with my arms around. I can cuddle it. But when you cut it and take your first bit of wadding out, it literally expands to the half the size of a room. And I said to them, there's not enough room for the girls in this place, let alone the wadding. And I said, these girls are they were too frail. And I was just like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And they said, okay, don't worry. And I left with a really heavy heart. And then I met this wonderful woman. She was Hindu. She lived in London, and she helped me do this fabulous pop-up in Old Street tube station, where we were telling everyone in London all about the pillows. And because that's what you do when you crowdfund, you then go and do this really expensive pop-ups in London. And so we were there, and I wanted to turn it into a South Indian paradise. And she's a Hindu, and she has shilakmis and Ganeshas all over her house. And I said to her, listen, Anita, could I just come into your house, empty it into the back of my crappy Fiat, drive it to Old Street and leave all your wonderful things in Old Street Tube Station for a week and sell loads of secret pillows? And she said, of course you can. So off I went, did all of that. Then I ran the pop-up and got so very, very unwell because I was working 12 hours a day in the freezing cold and only drinking white wine and eating sweets all day. I wasn't drinking white wine in the day. It's just every night we had like a party. I got people into the space and got them to buy secret pillows. Anyway, I eventually went to her house afterwards to give everything back before Christmas time. She was very happy to have all her sacred goddesses back. And just as I was leaving the house, she said she dropped down by this leather suitcase, and she slowly knelt down, and she said, please will you kneel next to the suitcase with me? And I said, okay. And I knelt down, and she said, I need you to help me. And I grabbed her and I said, I will do anything for you. You have helped me so much. And she said, I can't open this suitcase. I can't smell or look at anything that's inside. And I'm thinking, what the fuck's in there? And she said, I need you to promise me that you will take the suitcase away and use it to empower women in India. And I said, okay, I trust and love you. I will do that. And I said, what's in the suitcase? And she said, it's my mother's saris. And I was blown away. She said, I can't smell them. I can't look at them. It's so emotive. And I said, I promise I'll find a way. And we dragged this. I don't know if you've ever picked up 40 saris before, but they are so heavy. That's 40 times 6 meters of fabric. So we dragged this heavy leather suitcase and put it in my crappy Fiat, which was by then empty. And I managed to get it back to my rental in Tooting with all my foster kids in and the dog and all sorts of different things. Anyway, I got out and I dragged it up and I shoved it under the kind of crappy day bed we had and left them under there. And I didn't forget about them, but I just knew they were there. Anyway, 3-4 months later, I was going on holiday, and so luckily, so much privilege here. My mum and her sister and brother have an awesome villa in Portugal, and we were going out there with my girlfriends, and my mum had said to me, Fritha, you never sew anymore. And I was like, well, I'm busy being a social entrepreneur, selling things and everything. She said, I'm going to take one of the sewing machines to Portugal in a suitcase and leave it there so that you will start sewing, because I get bored and I'm very, very fair and I hate the sun, and actually going to Portugal is really not a very good idea for me, or India for that matter. And so she took the sewing machine out there. Anyway, my best friend she was at Manor House too. She's called Amy Cowell. I don't know if you remember her, Carla. She was really grumpy in the latter years. Anyway, she's a right old fashionista, smokes fags all the time, although she's given up and she doesn't even vape anymore. She is just grumpy and fashiony and really, really, really beautiful. And she went to the London College of Fashion and I didn't. And she became one of London's leading samplers of homeware, basically, of handbags and stuff like that. Anyway, she was coming out with me, and just as the taxi arrived to take us, I suddenly remembered the saris, and I thought, I know, I'll grab them. So I pulled out the thing, I grabbed some of the saris, never looked at them in my life, and I grabbed my sewing scissors and I shoved everything in the bag, and we flew off to Portugal. So I get to Portugal, and there's Amy sitting there smoking fags, drinking coffee really early in the morning. And I said, look, I want to tell you a story and I need you to help me. And she said, go on then. And so I told her the story about the girls in the shelter home. And I said, I need something that unfolds. It's got to unfold, because we unfold women's power. That's what our business does. And I said, I need like a dress or something made out of a sari that unfolds out of itself. And it's small and stuff. And she said, leave it with me. Go and make me another cup of coffee. 20 minutes later, I go back and she throws something at me and she said, catch it. It's a secret sari dress. And I opened it out, and she'd used the scissors, bit of thread, and she'd made this gorgeous dress that just unfolds. And you take a sari, basically 6 meters, and you chop it up, and then you make some little loops for the handles and out of the end of the sari, and then you just make a little pocket on the back of the dress, and you can wear it like 30 ways. Again, it is actually impossible for me to show you it, but if you go to Instagram and look up secret sari dress, you will see some of the world's biggest rock and metal stars wearing the dresses, and I'll send you the links in my thingy at the end. Anyway, so she said, go in there and make 5 more of the dresses on the sewing machine, and then we'll go to this beach place we were going that day and we'll wear them all. So I went there and I cut them all up, sewed them really roughly. I've still got them. And we went out in them in that day and we had a wonderful time. And that night when I got back to the villa, I got out my laptop and I emailed my friends in India and I said, I have found the product which we can use to train girls to stitch and enable them to earn an income, so that when they go back to Nepal and India and wherever they're going, Bangladesh, they can go home with some money in their pocket. Because the very sad thing about those girls that are rescued, within 1 month, up to 60% of them are back being sex slaves in the brothels. And it's money, it's purely money that empowers these girls. So empowerment is about loads of different things, tons of different things, but sometimes it starts with money. And that's what I found out through doing the secret sari dress stuff. And now we're working in West Bengal, where trafficking is prolific. And we're trying our hardest to keep a unit going up there by selling secret sari dresses. And we have tons of rock stars and metal stars and a growing number of celebrities who are helping, influencers who are helping us to sell the dresses. So we went from secret pillows to secret sari dresses, and I was starting to get tired. I knew I needed an amazing business partner in India, and I found her. She's called Nimala. She's amazing. You can see her on our website. You can see her all over YouTube. And then new visitor. Oh, there's another visitor to the site. She was amazing. And when I met her, we were like sisters. She is actually a fundraiser out in India. She's 3 years older than me. She has 3 kids. She's done her family already, whereas I haven't quite started yet. I'm trying to add, but I'm really old, so it's not really working. But I'll get there. And so then we 2 fundraisers together, social entrepreneurs, yay. And then I said, we need a finance person. And then this amazing, the universe sent me this lady called Banka Ajay, who's our CFO, and she's completely amazing. And she said to me, what do you need to do? And I said, I am exhausted. I am deeply exhausted. Nimala's working 2 jobs. I'm working 2 jobs. We are trying to keep this business going. The customers want it. The makers want it. We need to make and sell so much more product to make sure that the women that we're working with earn an income to help their families thrive and stay safe. What are we going to do? And she said, this is unsustainable. And I said, yeah, tell me about it. Anyway, we hit the streets of London and we went to Bates Wells, which is one of the top social enterprise and charity lawyer firms. They gave us a free meeting, thank you. And we went in there and I told them everything, and they said, you've got 3 options. And I said, okay. And they said, you're going to like option number 3. I said, well, let's go straight there then, right? And they said, we reckon what you should do is transform your limited company in India, in the UK, and then we had a partnership firm in India, and the 2 don't even legally, they're not even in the same business. So it was just becoming a nightmare getting money backwards and forwards, etc., etc. They said, what you should do is transform your business to a community benefit society. And I thought, I always felt like the film Chocolat. Do you remember that really cool film Chocolat ages ago? I was just like, oh, it sounds so delicious. A community benefit society. I wrote, what the hell is it? They're like, well, it's a bit like a cooperative, like John Lewis, but it's a bit different. I said, sounds delicious. I said, can I sell the shares myself to my customers? And they said yes, because I didn't want to get some random fund manager in who was going to call up all my customers and say, hey, you want to buy secret projects? I just thought, no, I want to flog it. People will buy it from me, but no one else. And they said, yeah, you can do that. You're going to have to give up all power of the company, though, because if someone buys one of the shares for £5, they're going to own the business as much as you, even if you've put in much more money than that. I said, I don't care. This is it. I want this. I want other people to be involved. I want to share this with so many women, and I want our makers to feel more belonging than they already do by bringing in as many people into this business as possible. And they said, okay then. So I go back to my faithful crowdfunding platform called crowdfunder.co.uk, and I called them and I said, hey guys, can I sell community shares through crowdfunder? And they said, hell yes you can. And they said, we're gonna support you all of the way. So last October, without any makeup, because I lost my makeup bag and I didn't find it for weeks later, and it was at the bottom of the dirty laundry, which I obviously hadn't washed for months. I'm not very good at self-care because I'm so obsessed with secret projects. I went with no makeup and made a video, and we with Nimala and Banker and our makers, and I started to sell the business. And I sold the business in the end for £120,000 to 260 investors. And lots of those are women, and lots of those are first-time social investors, and lots of them are also children. So I was really, really excited. And out of that crowdfunding, out of the sale of secret projects, we highlighted the story of a lady called Shailaja, who's one of our maker leaders. And have we worked out how to share the screen?
I've got to make you a host, so if I could try.
Okay. Because I really would love to do it at this point.
Right. See if this works.
Fritha is the host now, it says. That's
Okay,
good.
great. Awesome. That's what I want to be. Okay, hang on a sec. Okay, I'm just going to get some YouTube up. Love YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. Love Facebook. Love Instagram. Love Shopify. Love LinkedIn. Love all of these amazing, amazing things. Couldn't have done it without them. Right, okay, I'm gonna now flick the screen, share screen, or Zoom, thanks Zoom. Now this is one of our maker leaders, and she was the one we highlighted. Okay.
ನನ್ನ ಹೆಸರು ಶೈಲಜಾ, ನಾನು ತುಂಬಾ ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಟೈಲರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ನಾನು ಟೈಲರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಗಾರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹೋದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಟಾರ್ಚರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಓನರ್ ಅಂಗಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾನು ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಓನರ್ ಅಂಗಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನಮಗೆ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಬಂತು. ಅದರಿಂದ ನಾನು ಬಂದಿ ದರನೆಲ್ಲ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇವ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅಂಗಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ. ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅದನ್ನ ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಫೋಟೋಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಮಹಿಳಾ ಇಲಾಖೆ ಅಂತಿದೆ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಗೆ 2 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಸ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅದರಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದ ಹಣದಿಂದ ನಾವು ಮಿಷಿನ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಇವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಗುಂಪಾಗೇನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
Okay, so that's Shailaja. Stop share. Okay, so that's Shailaja, one of our makers, and we highlighted her story in hang on. Wow. Oh, I love that woman. No, we're not watching that now though. So we highlighted her story in the community share offer. She's been through our 4-stage empowerment program. There are 4 stages.
New visitor.
I don't have another visitor. I don't have time to tell you about the 4 stages, but I will next when I meet you at Manor House with all the gear and all the products. I'll tell you all about exactly how we empower these women and how all the stitching involved and everything like that. So it'll be like stage 2 of secret projects. And I know all the secret routes around Manor House, by the way. So many things, so many places that no one else knows. I know them because my grandma was headmistress and I spent a hell of a lot of time in that place sneaking about, and I know everywhere. Yeah, so Shailaja's amazing, and she's one of the, we work so hard to make sure that all our makers, our maker leaders are on the same route as Shailaja. What's so very sad is that with lockdown, she's lost her unit. So she just didn't she couldn't, there's no one walking past and no one spending any money. In India, I'm sure you've seen the news that a lot of people travel back to their family homes and left the city. So it's just, there's been no festivals, no parties, no weddings, no nothing. So she's lost her unit. So that was a real blow for all of us. And there's nothing we can do. We're not a charity. I can't give her the £60 a month she needs for it, because we don't work with beneficiaries, we work with business women. So all I can do is try and get our shops buzzing again, our online stores buzzing again, and our wholesale buzzing again. But that's tricky because the world is locked down, and India's postal service is currently still shut. So, but it's very sad, but we're extremely determined that we will rise up and move on. So COVID-19 is not going to destroy our business in any way. It's going to enable us to be more creative and thrive through it. So all I will say is I've sent Sarah some my slides, which I never really show anyone because I much prefer chatting to everyone and looking at all your faces. So on the slides, there is an invitation to join us. You can shop, you can invest, you can contribute, you can help us. And also you can travel with us when lockdown finishes and when we believe it's safe to do so. We can't take anyone into our communities, let alone even travel ourselves if we don't think it's safe. So who knows when that's going to come up again, but never mind. I'm sure it will. And also you can follow us on like 150 million social media channels and learn more about our business. So all the links are in there. We also, if you go to our website and you want to shop, I've put Fritha Friend, which is the code. You can get 20% off. And also when you go onto the website for the first time, something will pop up and say, would you like to subscribe to our free e-newsletter, which comes out about once a month. And it's called With Heart. And it was inspired by me winning the Clarins With Heart competition for Women with Heart about 2 years ago. And we got a £30,000 check. Awesome. And that's where I've got all my makeup from as well. I never bought any makeup, and then I won the Clarins thing, and now Clarins say we're not going to give you any more cash, but every time you need some more mascara, email us and we'll send it. So I have makeup now as long as I can find it. So which is what I've got on now. This is Clarins. So we launched With Heart, the e-newsletter, because their prize was called With Heart, and we wanted to keep that special and incredible and life-saving gift to the business in our hearts every month. So it's called With Heart. So my ladies from Manor House, it's been really nice talking to you. I would love to answer questions if you want to ask me any, and I would love to drink Prosecco on the lawn and bring it back to Manor House in the autumn when it's safe to do so.
Oh, thank you very much, Fritha.
Pleasure.
That was just wonderful. I've never seen so much fire in the belly, I must admit, and that's coming from another social entrepreneur. So
wow.
I just think you are truly wonderful, and I'm pretty sure that lots of our women will want to have a look at what you really do. And that's why I was upset that you couldn't come to Manor House with all your gear, because we love shopping, we love touching things, we love messing around with secret pillows and sari dresses. We've been set for the summer, so it's a shame that we were here. But I'm sure if people want to ask questions, does anybody have anything? I can see most of you on here. Does anybody have any questions for Fritha?
Everybody now.
Are you unmuting everybody, Catherine? Hopefully we don't have. If you want to raise your hand or wave to me or something, I can see most people. So if anybody's got anything they want to ask her. Was that you, Caroline? Are you just on that lounging on that sofa? Are you Mrs. Priddy? I thought your hand went up then, dear.
one thing I would say, and I forgot to offer this, but if anyone is thinking of crowdfunding in any way, and wants some advice on it, or just some tips and tricks, or an introduction to crowdfunder.co.uk, which is the biggest platform in the UK for cause-based crowdfunding, please do get in touch with me on LinkedIn or Facebook or Insta anyway, and I can share stuff.
That's very kind, thank you. That's very kind. I want to know, I just want to know, how are you going to find these women?
Okay, so this is a good point. So I don't, what I don't want to do is go back half-heartedly. I can't go back now anyway. I don't know when we'll be able to go back to the community. I just, India's like, the COVID's going up there now, the cities are getting hit, and the thing with the communities, we work in the community setting, and we've got one group, well, one network in the city in Bangalore, but the rest of them are really like quite isolated anyway, so we don't want to show up and take any germs with us. So, but these guys, so I know the guy on Facebook still. He's left the organisation that we went to see these women with, and he knows where it is. And I've got a picture, and I've got more pictures than the one that I didn't manage to show you, but I've got more pictures than that. So if he could get me back to the track where the house was, I could go there. But what I want to do is I want to go there with a crew, a camera crew, and I want to use the story to run a crowdfunding campaign and make sure that I can then just put a big bit of training into that community, because they're not alone. There are more self-help groups there, and I don't want to go half-heartedly again.
Yeah.
I want to go in and say, okay, listen, I could train 50 of you and introduce you to the project. But doing something like that, that's quite a lot of investment for us, and it's just something that at the moment we just don't have the capacity to do that, particularly with COVID and all the rest of it. But it's something that I'm hoping to do at some point. I definitely want to pay back that to them. So,
oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I'd like to help you find them. That's what I'd like to do. I'd be on the next train to Kerala. I'm trying to
have you been to India before?
Yes. Wow. Yeah. To the south, and loved it.
I loved it. Yeah, it's such a good place.
Yeah. Really cool. Right. Well, has anybody else got anything for Fritha? Anybody else want to know anything? No? Well, I just want to say then, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we will definitely see you for a drink. And we want you to bring all your stuff when you come see us next time. Because I think what you're doing is wonderful and really, really empowering.
Thank you.
And very.
Well, I will say when we unlock, one of the things that we want to do is involve. I want to promote the fact that we do talks with community groups, and we want to offer our talks all over the world. And now with everyone being more accepting of the Zoom and things like that, we might be able to do it more. But I certainly going to look for community groups that I've already spoken to do like photos, to do a photo shoot for me. So if you guys would like to be models, and we're
like that.
Yeah.
We've got some really good looking bells. I mean, that's...
You're all completely gorgeous. I can see it now. You on the lawn at Manor House, in front of the back, with all the Secret Saree dresses on. I can bring all the crews with the cameras, and we could do something really exciting.
Oh, that sounds wonderful, girls. I think we'd like that. We like a bit. We love a bit of a challenge. I think that's really quite cool.
Or I could drape you up the stairs.
Oh, we've been draped up those stairs before at Christmas.
Gorgeous. Well, I'll tell when I see my grandmother on Sunday, I'll tell her that I spoke to you guys, and she'll be really excited.
Oh, that's really nice, because obviously from our point of view, we've been at Manor House now for 6 years, which is really crazy. and we do have the best venue in Surrey for a WI. So
We really do.
we are very lucky, and we do have a lively WI. Give us a gin or a prosecco, we'll do anything. So you know, it's always a good thing.
Great. Well, listen, love you all. Keep
Thank
going.
you very much, Fritha. Can we give her a hand? Oh, it's lovely. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, well, ladies, that was wonderful. I was really impressed with that, I must admit. I wish we were there to see the slides and all the
Can I say they're absolutely beautiful? She brought them once to the Christmas fair. They are stunning.
really.
PowerPoint presentation that I can email out to everybody.
Yes, yeah. Well, yeah, we can email the presentation out tomorrow. But it's always nice when you can see things for yourself and touch things for yourself. And it's and I think what she's doing in India is just so needed. And now we were talking about trafficking and all that kind of stuff. It's just, I mean, I've worked in trafficking, and it's not, it's devastating. And I just think it's a wonderful thing to support. And I'm pretty sure that if we can get her back, or you know, if people are checking out in the meantime, it would be really nice to support something that does empower women to become self-sufficient in rural areas of India. So, but I thought she was very good. So
Lovely.
everybody
Very
happy?
Yeah.
You good? Thumbs up.
Yeah. Well done.
Oh, that was nice. Did you record that, Catherine?
I did, but it might have the bit that I was trying to share the screen with her.
Oh, right. Okay.
But you know,
I mean, if people do want to see it, that haven't, who weren't on tonight, they could see it. But that's a shame, really, because I think she was very good.
Oh, very inspirational. Yeah.
Very, well, yeah. I mean, that's a true entrepreneur. That fire in the belly. She's just excitable, and I love to see that.
Enthusiastic.
Reminds me of me when I was younger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Be like that.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Really good stuff. Sarah, can you send me her details, actually? Because I'd like to email her.
Cool. I'll do it now.
Some help for her that she might need. But
Hold on.
thank you very much, ladies. I hope you've had a good, I hope you enjoyed the talk. Stay in touch with each other. And if you need anything, just email in. Someone tells me what's going on if I don't answer straight away. I haven't been on there this weekend at all, but you know, if you need help, you know my phone number or whatever, email in and we'll be there. But hopefully we won't be too long now through this awful thing. There might be 12 people, or I don't know, out of your bubble or whatever. I keep thinking we could have a garden party. I keep looking at my garden thinking, how many women could I get in my garden? And you know, every week it gets more. So hopefully we can get together soon and well, not hug, because we're not allowed to do that. But, you know, it'll be really lovely to see you all. But thank you very much for coming tonight, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you,
lovely.
Amanda.
Nice to see your
Amanda.
beautiful faces.
Bye.
We're going to have a cup of tea now. So I'll see you all guys soon.
Yeah. Amanda, thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.